Assalamu alaikum, welcome to Times Up Ummah. Today's first news update is coming from United States, where the United States Secretary of State Antony Blinken has arrived in Egypt after meeting with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. His visit is aimed to support a ceasefire reached last week between Gaza and Israel. Dear viewers, the 11 days of Israeli bombardment that began on May 10 killed at least 248 Palestinians, including 66 children, and wounded nearly 2,000 others in the coastal enclave. At least 12 people in Israel, including 2 children, were killed by rockets fired from Hamas and other armed groups from Gaza during the same period. The Blinken's visit to Cairo on Wednesday came a day after he held separate meetings with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and Palestinian Authority's President Mahmoud Abbas. The top United States diplomat pledged millions in aid to rebuilding efforts in Gaza that he said the United States would ensure would not benefit Hamas, with whom Washington doesn't have direct contact and labels a terrorist organization. But Hamas has always protected the Gaza Strip from Israeli aggression, as Israel did this month. And maybe for the United States it could be a terrorist organization, but for Gaza and Palestine it is a hope. Dear viewers, Blinken will meet the Egyptian President Abdul Fattah al-Sisi, and then he will be flying to Jordan to meet King Abdullah II. Dear viewers, the United States President Joe Biden has thanked the Egyptian president in a phone call on Monday, and you should also know that the Biden administration was initially even not ready to condemn the Israeli aggression, but after facing huge criticism, it struggled to bring both sides to ceasefire. The violence escalated when Israeli forces stormed the Al-Aqsa Mosque and beat the worshippers, in which it crossed all the limits. Dear viewers, after meeting with Netanyahu and Abbas, Blinken called on all parties to build on the ceasefire and try to move things in a generally positive direction. He said the Biden administration would notify Congress of our intention to provide $75 million in additional development and economic assistance to the Palestinians in 2021. He also pledged $5.5 million in immediate disaster assistance for Gaza and about $32 million for United Nations Agency for Palestinian Refugees. Dear viewers, Blinken said the United States will work with the partners to ensure the Hamas doesn't benefit from the reconstruction assistance, but didn't offer the details on how that would be achieved or how the ongoing discord between Hamas and Fatah-led Palestinian Authority will be navigated. While referencing that a future Israel-Palestine peace process ultimately requires two states, and condemning actions that lead to further violence, including annexation, home demolitions, and settlements activities, Blinken has put relatively little emphasis on wider peace negotiations during his trip. Today's second news update is coming from Israel, where the Israeli Prime Minister has said Israel may act on its own to stop Iran from acquiring the nuclear weapon. His warning comes as the United States Secretary of State Antony Blinken headed Israel. Blinken's Tuesday visit to Israel comes just before a fifth round of indirect negotiations between the United States and Iran to return to the 2015 Iran nuclear deal on Thursday. Dear viewers, the United States Special Envoy for the Iran, Robert Malley, said of the negotiations, the latest round of talks was constructive and some meaningful progress, but much work still needs to be done. He expressed his hope that the fifth round will further advance toward a mutual return to the compliance. Dear viewers, Israel considers Iran as its biggest rival in the region, and if I say that the first mission of Israel is to stop Iran from acquiring the nuclear weapons. And Netanyahu has said to the Mossad agents on Monday that the top mission for every one of you is to prevent Iran from arming itself with a nuclear weapon, and that is a supreme mission. And here I also tell you that Blinken and the United States State Department officials briefing on the matter did not say Iran was on the agenda for its visit, but Israeli officials plan to raise the matter in their meetings with him. Netanyahu has said he values our friends the United States very much, and their support is part of our national security. And we have several times seen that America protecting Israel from any war and helping it. And that's the fact that without United States, Israel is nothing. Netanyahu has said ensuring that the Ayatollah will not stop the thousands of years of existence of the Jewish people will require us to make courageous and independent decisions. He added, without an agreement, we will do everything to prevent Iran from arming itself with a nuclear weapon, because that is our existence. Netanyahu had warned multiple times last month following the attack on Iran's Natanz nuclear plant that Israel would defend itself against Iranian threat. He stressed that Jerusalem would work to combat Tehran's nuclear ambitions. And then reports claimed Mossad was behind the attack, which cost Iran a lot. But Iran had said we will take revenge. And in In response, Iran boosted the uranium enrichment to 60% from 20%. Viewers, almost all the times Israel destroys Iran nuclear program, but once if Iran became a nuclear power, it will be the end of the Jewish regime, because Iran has many times said, we will destroy even the name of Israel. Today's third news update is coming from Afghanistan, where Taliban has issued a clear warning to its neighboring countries against allowing the United States to operate military bases in their land. The Taliban emphasized they will make it their historic mistake. Their viewers, the Taliban warning comes as speculations is circulating in the region that Pakistan will allow the United States to build their military airbase in Pakistan. But after that, the Pakistani Foreign Office spokesman Zahid Hafiz Chaudhry on Monday told journalists that there is no United States military or airbase in Pakistan, nor was any such proposal envisaged. Any speculations on this account is baseless and irresponsible and should be avoided. And the Pakistani foreign minister have also made clear that Pakistan will never repeat the mistakes it did in the past. Mr. Qureshi has told to Senate that this news is baseless and speculative. He also said that I want to make it clear on the floor of the House that Pakistan, under the leadership of Imran Khan, will never allow any American base on its soil. Their viewers, Taliban has said, we urge neighboring countries not to allow anyone to do so. If such a step is taken again, it will be a great and historic mistake and disgrace. It added they would not remain silent in the face of such heinous and provocative acts. Whereas Taliban are now becoming more stronger, and the latest report saying that Taliban took control of 3 districts over the past few weeks, and they are still advancing. A former Afghan spy chief has said Taliban are trying to take control of main highways that links Kabul to neighboring provinces, and it is apparent that Taliban wants to first overrun the highways and then capture Kabul. And the most latest news is saying that Taliban took control of a district that is just 60 kilometers away from Kabul. So you can now imagine the power of the Taliban, and now the United States has also recognized that they can't fight the Taliban more. The Biden administration called it is the United States' longest war. So Taliban has made it clear to even Pakistan, which has been always blamed for its support of the Taliban. Their viewers, as United States forces has started its withdrawal on May 1st, the Taliban have drastically intensified its deadly attacks on the Afghan government forces, and it kills hundreds each day in the clashes. The report also saying that the Taliban has captured hundreds of checkpoints, and mostly the Afghan security forces have surrendered to Taliban with their weapons as well, and saying they can't further fight the Islamist Taliban and they deserve the governance. Dear viewers, if you want to watch top 3 news of the day, please subscribe Times of Ummah.